Child's play after geomorphology, very easy after geomorphology, sorry ये oceanography बहुत आसान है after geomorphology, factual है वो बात अलग है। आवाज आवाज बट क्या है ओशनोग्राफी में, बॉटम रिलीफ, हर एक ओशन का बॉटम रिलीफ, उसके बाद सैलिनिटी टेम्परेचर, हेलोक्लाइन, थर्मोक्लाइन, पाइनोक्लाइन, उसके बाद ओशन करंट्स। अल नीनो थोड़ा टफ है बट इट इज ऑल्सो वेरी इजी वंस यू अंडरस्टैंड द कंसेप्ट। उसके बाद द टीएस डायग्राम, सैलिनिटी टेम्परेचर डायग्राम या हिप्सोग्राफिक कर्व, और अब ओशन डिपॉजिट्स, कोरल रीफ्स, खत्म है क्लाइमेटोलॉजी, सॉरी ओशनोग्राफी। ना डेविस ना पैंक, एक ही थिंकर मरे, फाइन। उसके बाद आज पता चलेगा और एक थिंकर, डार्विन, डेविस, वही डेविस आएगा फिर से यहाँ पे, दैट इज थियरीज ऑफ कोरल रीफ्स। ऑब्वियसली इजी है इसलिए एक ही क्वेश्चन आता है। मैं अभी वो चार्ट बना के देता हूँ, कल जो था वो सिर्फ एक्सप्लेनेशन था कैसे डिपॉजिट्स और कैसे हम स्टडी करेंगे आज, कौन सा नाम आना चाहिए। I've got an offer to stand in elections for MLA. Obviously दिल्ली में कौन पहचानेगा मुझे, दिल्ली में someone will say राज ठाकरे वो ऐसे करता है। MLA के लिए ऑब्वियसली पता है कि हारने वाला है ये, ऐसे आदमी के खिलाफ मैं श्योर हूँ हारने वाला हूँ, श्योर बैंकक्रप्ट हो जाऊंगा। और कौन जाएगा? आई हैव सीन पीपल बिकमिंग बैंकक्रप्ट। अमरावती, that is what I say कि my father has a very big fan following in that area of Bombay. He used to get some offers for election because उन्होंने इतना 1975 में जब वो डॉक्टर बने थे तो वो बोट पे जाते थे पेशेंट्स के पास, इतनी पहले सेवा की थी। He didn't earn that much money but he has earned numerous names कि he got an offer. So my father used to say only one thing कि right now people accept us but once I start standing in elections, they will forget that I have settled in Bombay from 1975. They will say he is an outsider, he is from Amravati. Send him back to Amravati. That bad is the politics nowadays. I said MLC का दे दो, MLA का नहीं। I am basically very lazy person. कौन सुबह उठेगा, कौन जाएगा, क्लास आने को ही मैं कैसे आता हूँ मुझे ही पता है। This is a very good career. जो अभी जो मेरे friends who could not clear UPSC and we are doing something, अब सब election management कर रहे हैं, 10 crores, 15 crores, just like Prashant Kishore. Management of election, good career option. So we are now, you have studied yesterday what are the terrigenous deposits. Now understand, जब भी deposits आएंगे you should know this. There are two kinds of deposits, terrigenous and pelagic. अभी तक एक भी question नहीं आया है. All the questions have been directly from the pelagic deposits. So the terrigenous deposits, that is which originate from the land, are in the form of sand, gravel and mud, out of which we have done the mud. Mud as per three types is into blue mud, green mud, red mud, and then also black mud. You know how, what is this? And the third kind of a, fourth last kind of a deposit is silt, which is brought by the rivers. These are the deposits that are known as the terrigenous deposit: blue mud, green mud, red mud, black mud, sand, gravel, mud and silt. Now pelagic deposits which we will be doing today are of two types. One will be organic deposits, and one will be inorganic deposits. Organic deposits are of two types. One which is made up of calcium, calcareous, and one which is rich in silica, siliceous. Inorganic deposit is either red clay or meteor dust. Will be in the form of red clay or meteoric dust. Now is the question easy for you to understand? Generally हमें क्या पूछा है? Pelagic deposits, organic, inorganic. Organic is one which is rich in calcium, that is from the corals, jelly-like animals, and one which is rich in silica, siliceous animals. And inorganic deposits will be red clay and the meteoric dust particles. इसलिए अंडरस्टैंडिंग कल हमने क्यों किया वो लेयर्स ऑफ द ओशन वाटर, पेलाजिक कहाँ पे है, नेरेटिक कहाँ पे है, एंड देन लास्ट ये छोटा पार्ट है, दैट इज व्हाट इज द डस्ट. यू ऑलरेडी नो ब्लू मड, the normal mud particles, fine. Blue mud is converted into green mud or by the red mud. If there is more of an glauconite, green mud. If there is more of an iron, red mud. This offers etc., they generally come on the factors of, rather than competency of a person, they come on the factors of caste. The Maratha caste used to be too much dominant in Maharashtra. 30% of caste used to cover the entire. Now what BJP has done what Mayawati had done in UP, what is known as engineering, social engineering. It has taken all the Maratha people in the BJP fold. So, and फिर से tickets अब मराठा कम्युनिटी में ही दी जाएगी, बट अगेंस्ट मराठा. रिमेंबर जितना एडवांस्ड हमें लगता है स्टेट इन इंडिया, उतना वो कास्ट में ज्यादा स्ट्रांग है. सिर्फ ये है सदर्न इंडिया में कास्ट फैक्टर दिखता नहीं है डायरेक्टली, नॉर्थ इंडिया में कास्ट फैक्टर डायरेक्टली दिखता है. यस, वैसे नहीं पता लगता. और ये क्यों है मराठा कास्ट डोमिनेंट, क्यों है, ये हमारा सिलेबस का पार्ट है. This is a gift of green revolution. When the agriculture community displaced the Brahminic community from the mainstream politics. That is what the Green Revolution did. That is the agriculture community, those who were the tillers of the land, those who had the owners of the land became a strong workforce, strong pressure group, और आज वो dominant है. The only thing what Mayawati did is only in UP is agriculture community को उसने displace कर दिया by bringing tillers. There can be lower communities and Brahmins against the landowners. This is what Mayawati had done in UP. Fine. With the greater urbanization, urbanization is one thing where you cannot decide your caste. Your neighbor is not on the basis of caste, it is on the basis of budget, right? So जहाँ जहाँ urbanization होगा वहाँ बीजेपी होगी, क्योंकि कांग्रेस ने अब तक सिर्फ कास्ट बेस्ड पॉलिटिक्स किया है, बीजेपी ने कास्ट बेस्ड पॉलिटिक्स नहीं किया, आइडियोलॉजी बेस्ड पॉलिटिक्स किया है. You don't realize that economy is worst. आपको लगता है national security is good, right? इकोनॉमी आप कहते हो कि हो जाएगी ठीक, बट एटलीस्ट इंडिया तो बच रहा है. व्हाट इज एन आइडियोलॉजिकल डिफरेंस? देयर इज वन पर्सन हु इज चेकिंग द आंसर. हिज नेम इज सैफ मुल्ला. सैफ मुल्ला. व्हिच कम्युनिटी? इस्लाम कम्युनिटी. फ्रॉम लास्ट 36 years हिज हाउस इज कीपिंग गणेश फेस्टिवल. उसके घर में गणपति होते हैं. This was what was the India. Understanding what has happened now? तो हिंदू तो मुस्लिम कैसे गणपति रख सकता है? तो धीरे धीरे ये हो रहा है. Can I continue? So now coming to the pelagic deposits. Clear? Sand, gravel. Sand obviously with the rivers, gravel, mud, silt, etc. And then we have different kind of mud. Now pelagic deposits has been, pelagic means sea, deposits which are found in the sea, which are not originating from the land, which are not brought by the rivers. यहाँ पे तो कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, रिवर पहले सैंड डालेगी, पहले ग्रेवल डालेगी, उसके बाद सैंड, सैंड से भी छोटा फिर मड, मड से भी छोटा फिर सिल्ट. मड कितने टाइप्स की मड है? ब्लू, ग्रीन, रेड एक्सेट्रा. नाउ द पेलाजिक डिपॉजिट्स. एंड ये थोड़ा टफ है. टफ इन द सेंस कंसेप्चुअल बिल्कुल भी नहीं है, फैक्चुअल ज्यादा है कि कहाँ पे कौन सा ऑर्गेनिक डिपॉजिट सबसे ज्यादा है. बट बिफोर आई गो टू द पेलाजिक डिपॉजिट्स, वन स्टेटमेंट यू कैन नोट डाउन इज the terrigenous deposits. The terrigenous deposits has been divided on the basis of size of the sediments, has been divided on the basis of size of the sediments into first gravel, where the sediments are coarse, and therefore they cannot be carried by the river into sea. Therefore they cannot be carried by the river into the sea. Followed by sand, yes, followed by sand, एक इस लाइन में, followed by sand, which are brought by rivers as well as wind and surface wash. Surface wash मतलब ये रेन वाटर सब जो जा रहा है, that is what is known as a surface wash. The sand deposits, full stop के बाद, the sand deposits are consisting of sedimentary sedimentary, igneous as well as metamorphic rocks, sedimentary, igneous as well as metamorphic rocks. Full stop. The sand is further followed by smaller deposits ranging from 0.0002 ranging from 0.002 to 0.0002 to ये वाला TO वाला 2 ये याद रखना है 0.625 मिलीमीटर 0.0625 millimeter known as silt, clay and mud. Silt, clay and mud. These are carried by the rivers. These are carried by the rivers as suspended particles. These are carried by the rivers as suspended particles. Mud is even finer than clay. Mud is even finer than clay, and therefore carried by the rivers up to the shelf break. Therefore carried by the rivers up to shelf break. The terrigenous deposit can be represented by the following diagram. The terrigenous deposits can be represented by following diagram. क्लियर विद दिस? जितना फाइन है वो आगे लेके गया, वैसे अब कुछ नहीं है. It is silt and clay, fine. उसके बाद it is mud. Make as many diagrams as possible. This diagram you will find in Rupa made simple. What is this? This is continental shelf. Can I continue? Your slope is too steep for a continental shelf. थोड़ा gentle बनाओ slope. Can I continue? Murray has classified the mud into three broad categories of blue mud, green mud and red mud. Blue, green and red mud. Fine. These are the answer for the terrigenous deposit. Done. Pelagic deposits. देखो इसमें कोई कंक्लूजन और सब नहीं है, डोंट वरी अबाउट इट, बिकॉज इसका कोई रियल लाइफ एग्जांपल्स यूसेज हमें नहीं है इतना. Why the word pelagic? Means from the sea. कहाँ पे होगा ये डिपॉजिट? Above the continental shelf या above the abyssal plain? Above the abyssal plain, that is below the height of depth of 200 meters. 200 meters तक तो we have terrigenous deposits. Below the depth of 200 meters we have the pelagic deposits. So pelagic deposits are of two types, organic and inorganic. Organic from the animals which are rich in calcium and from the organisms which are rich in silica. Calcium wala deposits will not be found up to greater depth. Silica wala deposits will be found even up to greater depth. Why the calcium wala deposits are not found up to greater depth? Because calcium is soluble. Getting it? One last statement which I forgot, you can use it in conclusion, is the blue mud is the most widely spread of all terrigenous muds. Blue mud is the most widely spread of all terrigenous muds. Most widely spread of all terrigenous muds. Getting it? Coming to pelagic deposits. Introduction. Pelagic deposits are the deposits which have their source from the sea itself. Agar, even if it is found at a greater depth inside the sea and if the source is the land, then it is terrigenous. Pelagic means from the sea only. Coral se agar kuch bana, corals are found only in the sea. Mangroves se agar bana, mangroves are found on the land. Pelagic means from the sea. It is a German word. Pelagic means from the sea. Should I repeat again? Pelagic deposits are the deposits which have source from the sea itself. These deposits are mostly on the abyssal plains. These deposits are mostly on the abyssal plains. But some pelagic deposits are also found on continental shelf and slopes. Continental shelf and slopes. Broadly classified into, it is broadly classified into organic or biogenous deposits, and secondly inorganic deposits. What happens when you cook chicken inside the cooker? How the chicken becomes soft. So does the chicken remain as it is, or what will happen if you cook fish inside the cooker? Fish कभी cook करते हैं cooker में? क्यों? It becomes too soft, liquid जैसा. So कोई भी biogenous deposits in the deep sea will become liquidish in color, will become very very soft, and उसको हम कहेंगे ooze means liquid mud. अभी तक ooze आया नहीं, अभी ये सारे ooze होंगे. So ooze from the corals which are rich in calcium will be calcareous ooze. Ooze from the animals such as crabs जिनके बहुत ज़्यादा पैर है, they will be petropod or pteropod ooze because P is silent. Fine. Ooze from the animals which are rich in silica will be siliceous ooze. बहुत simple है. Calcium ooze थोड़ा ऊपर, pteropod ooze थोड़ा नीचे, siliceous ooze और थोड़ा deep parts में. This is how the pelagic deposits are. Meteoric deposits जो है inorganic deposits वो कहीं पे भी हो सकते हैं because meteor can fall anywhere inside the ocean, so it does not depend upon depth. बहुत ही आसान है. Getting it? So organic or biogenous deposits. Have you seen shark का teeth? हाथ में लेके? Small one. How it is? Is it easily destroyed while cooking? No. Why? Because you will today understand shark का teeth is made up of iron in it. Iron है shark के teeth में. That is why it is so dangerous. Shark का teeth. And जो shark का teeth से जो deposits बनते हैं, उनको हम inorganic deposits में डालेंगे as red clay. Why red in color? Because it is rich in iron. Fine. बाकी के fish का teeth are easily destroyed, but shark का teeth are not easily destroyed while cooking also. Tell me, what is the source? What is the source here? Organic deposits में. Skeletons of marine organisms. So source is the skeletons of marine flora and fauna. दोनों of marine flora and fauna. Next point, marine flora and fauna. Next point. They are in the form of liquid mud. They are in the form of liquid mud, commonly known as ooze. and when dried, they become powdery. When dried, they become powdery substance. They become powdery substance of microscopic size. Of microscopic size. Why the word is ooze? When you say oozing, जब पस निकलता है बॉडी में से, you call it as a ooze. That is why ooze. कहाँ पे यूज होता है ये ooze? ड्राई करके. अभी आजकल नहीं यूज होता, पहले मांजा इससे बनता था, ooze से. Therefore it was never so dangerous. अब it is made up of glass powder and therefore it can kill the people. Secondly, have you seen the photos of Cleopatra or any old queens etc. उनका बहुत सफेद रहता था चेहरा, as if, या पुरानी हीरोइंस भी देखो, as if पाउडर का पूरा एक, right? That was ooze, not the talcum powder. That was ooze. Getting it? So that was the use of ooze. आजकल it is generally used for skin implant, for implant, teeth etc. निकल गया किसी का, ooze. Generally it is used nowadays for whitening of sugar. Sulfurless sugar, you know what is sulfurless sugar? It is also white in color. Generally natural sugar is brown, sulfur is added to it so that it becomes very white in color, but sulfur is very harmful to us. So till recently, what used to be added in the sugar to make it sulfurless white? Bones of cattle. Bone ka powder they used to make and they used to add in the sugar and they used to make it white. But bones of cattle aajkal India mein is not allowed at a greater extent, so they are starting to use ooze. So जो खीर खाते हैं during the fasting days, fast नहीं हो सकता because you are eating from sugar which is made from either cattle या from ooze, right? Second, types. Calcareous and siliceous. It is CALCA. थोड़ा ये डिफिकल्ट लगता है. Calcareous ooze is further divided into pteropod ooze and globigerina ooze. First we'll do this. This is divided into the radioallurin ooze. It will be easy for you to follow them. Pteropod, single statement, and globigerina ooze. Can I continue? Calcareous ooze consists of remains of those animals. Calcareous ooze consists of remains of those animals which are extremely rich in lime or calcium. Which are extremely rich in lime or calcium. They are practically absent. Underline this. They are practically absent from greater depths. From greater depth. Why? Why they are practically absent from greater depth? Because calcium gets easily dissolved. Pteropod ooze. As it is answer मैं dictate कर रहा हूँ, just remember this is the answer for the pelagic deposits. Pteropod ooze. They are derived from molluscs. molluscs. What is known as molluscs? Fish is also a marine animal. Yeah, what is a mollusk? Any land animal which is a mollusk is a snail. क्या होता है snail के ऊपर? Shell. Shell is made up of calcium. So any shell bearing animal is a mollusk. But don't write in simple words in optional shell bearing animals, right? Mollusks. Which are having conical and fragile shells. Conical and fragile shells. Challenger expedition. This is how an answer should be. मतलब एक तो कुछ तो बता दिया आपने. Challenger expedition has found out the average chemical composition. Has found out the average chemical composition of pteropod ooze. Of pteropod ooze. Of pteropod ooze, which is 80% calcium carbonate. देखो कंसेप्चुअल है. टेरोपोड ooze from the shell bearing animals. उसमें क्या है? 80% calcium carbonate. Right? अब tell me आगे ये abyssal plains है. So should I write that this ooze is generally found in the oceanic trenches, bottom of the ocean floor, or should I write these are generally found on the mid-oceanic ridges and the shallow parts of the oceanic plains? What you will write? कहाँ पे होगा? Deeper parts या shallow parts? Shallow parts. Deeper में it will get dissolved due to pressure. So what are the shallow parts? Continental shelves. But is it a part of abyssal plain? No. So abyssal plain का shallow part क्या है? Mid-oceanic ridge, mid-oceanic plateaus, volcanic mountains के top पे. Getting it? जहां जहां corals dissolve हो जाएंगे. That is the next point. It is mostly found in comparatively shallow parts of the comparatively shallower parts of abyssal plains, between the depths of 800 to 1800 fathoms. Between the depths of 800 to 1800 fathoms. These regions include mid-oceanic ridges, comma, volcanic and coral islands. Volcanic and coral islands. Volcanic and coral islands. Mid-oceanic ridges, comma, volcanic and coral islands. Islands. Highlands नहीं, islands. Islands. Example, found in the Mediterranean Sea, surrounding Andaman and Nicobar Islands, and Lakshadweep. Getting it? अब इससे थोड़ा नीचे जाओगे तो you will find next kind of ooze, that is the not siliceous globigerinaria ooze. What is the difference? It consists of 64% calcium carbonate, बाकी 30% में there is silica and other minerals. हमारे लिए important is silica. If it is becoming only silica, then we will call it as a siliceous ooze. Getting it? The reason I am dictating so easy topic is, if you read Savindra Singh, ये chapter आप छोड़ दोगे. It is given in such a tough language, right? So इसलिए I am dictating, follow only these things. It is very confusing. Globigerina ooze. Globigerina ooze. It is made from all the marine organisms except पहले वाले, right? According to Challenger expedition, the average chemical composition is 64% calcium, 2%, actually it is 1.64%, पर exactly नहीं दे रहा हूँ, silica, and remaining कितना बचता है? 34% finer washings. What do you mean by finer washing? Finer materials, nothing else. Finer materials which has been washed. It is made from various shell bearing flora and fauna, and the organisms such as worms and echinoderms. ये ज्यादा सफेद होगा या ये येलोइश होगा? येलोइश, क्योंकि कैल्शियम कम हो गया. echinoderms. Now those who are only from the Konkan coast, yes, stay in Bombay, know this kind of an ooze. Do you know the fish Bombay duck? Fish hai, or in Marathi it is known as bombil. You know it? So which if I bring in this room, it will give a very bad smell. Nobody can survive in this room there. So what? Yes, it is very delicious only if you can develop the taste. वो yellowish color का होता है, वो dry होता है, and that is nothing but globigerinaria ooze. Getting it? वो सड़ा हुआ होता है, इसलिए it gives the smell. Getting it? और कहीं नहीं मिलता, कोंकण कोस्ट में मिलता है, इसलिए बाकी के जगह, even if you are from Karnataka, you will not know this. Yes. What is echinoderm? Find out what is echinoderm. Next point. It is widely distributed in Atlantic, which will breathe through skin. That is why echinoderm. Starfish is an example of an echinoderm. Octopus is also to some extent an example of an echinoderm. Jinko skin is very sensitive. Derm is skin. It is widely distributed in the Atlantic, western continental shelf of Indian Ocean. That is why I gave you the example of western continental shelves of the Indian Ocean. Matlab western part of the Indian Ocean, generally at the depth of 2000 to 4000 fathoms. 2000 to 4000 fathoms. Getting it? Can you make your own diagram abhi? 1800 तक, don't make it, पूरा एक ही डायग्राम बनाना है. 1800 के नीचे और अब 4000 के नीचे सिलिशियस ऊस. क्लियर विद दिस? नेक्स्ट, अब एग्जाम में अगर नहीं याद आता तो ये मेरे एग्जाम्पल्स याद रखना कि कैलकेरियस कहाँ होगा, कंसेप्ट्स याद रखना, रटने की जरूरत नहीं है. जो रीजन शैलो है, तो अंडमान निकोबार लक्षद्वीप डाल दो. अगर नहीं याद आ रहा है तो मॉरिशियस डाल दो. नोबडी इज गोइंग टू फाइंड आउट कि सच्ची में वहां पे है या नहीं. ऑब्वियसली है, राइट? देन remember my example of Bombay duck. That is why I give you so many examples, so that you remember it in the exam. So you don't have to remember the kaun sa part of Indian Ocean, etc. Siliceous ooze. Next is, these are formed from the organisms. Siliceous ooze formed from the organisms which have larger proportion of silica. Which have larger proportion of silica. Therefore, they do not easily dissolve. How many of you have fish tank at home? How many of you have seen the fish tank? Fish tank के अंदर there is something decorative item. What is that decorative item? Siliceous ooze. बस इतना याद रखना. Because of the dominance of silica, it will not dissolve easily in water. Fine? So it is found up to greater depth. कहाँ से? 2000 से 5000. Fine? So it has further two categories. One category is radiolarian ooze. Radiolarian ooze. Found at the depth of 2000 to 5000 meters. 2000 to 5000, not meters, fathoms. Radiolarian, R-I-A-N. Radiolarian ooze. R-A-D-I-O-L-A-R-I-A-N. Found at the depth of 2000 to 5000 fathoms. It has only 4% of calcium content. It has only 4% of calcium content. It is generally found mixed with. It is generally found mixed with Globigerina ooze. Globigerina ooze. Radiolarian ooze. डीपर अभी हम डीप जा रहे हैं. सो कौन से ओशन इज द डीपेस्ट? पैसिफिक. सो रेडियोलैरियन ooze is mainly confined to Pacific Ocean. Remember this way, mainly confined to Pacific Ocean and found in patches in Indian and Atlantic Ocean. Found in the Indian and Pacific Ocean. Patches in Indian and Atlantic Ocean. And the last ooze is, can someone tell me what are diatoms? Are they animals? Are they plants? क्या है ये? Diatoms. Diatoms are both marine plants and animals. Fine. Diatoms form the second base of a food chain. Diatoms are slightly larger in size than phytoplanktons, and therefore, they are mostly generally animals. Very few plants are there as diatoms. Mostly animals, but there are some plants also. Because they are animals, do they require a continental shelf, or do they require sunlight, or they can stand below also? They can be below also. So diatom ooze मिलेगा उसके नीचे 6000 fathoms के आसपास. Understanding? Calcium content और कम हो जाएगा, कितना? 3%. Getting it? Why will the animals require sunlight? Do they do photosynthesis? Are the fishes found only in the photic zone? They don't require sunlight. Sunlight सिर्फ चाहिए phytoplanktons को, बाकी किसी को नहीं चाहिए. Only plants को चाहिए. If there is no sunlight, do the people not stay in Norway, जहाँ पे 6 months sunlight नहीं है? People stay there. Do we require sunlight? No. Do we do photosynthesis? No. Diatom ooze was discovered by Murray. एक ही thinker है जो oceanography में. Was discovered by Murray during his Challenger expedition. Diatoms flourish in the colder seas. Underline the word colder seas. कहाँ पे है diatoms? In the colder seas. What I told you yesterday, सबसे पहले phytoplanktons will be eaten by diatoms, or zooplanktons will be eaten by diatoms will be eaten by crustaceans will be eaten by fishes. Now जहाँ पे there is a mixing of warm and cold currents, phytoplanktons in the tropical seas वो Gulf Stream ले जाती है. Labrador current is bringing diatoms, so वहाँ पे food chain base बन जाता है, and इसीलिए this is the richest fishing region of the world. Getting it? Next point. The calcium content is around 3%. Calcium content is around 3%. And they may be found at different depths. Varying from 2000 to 6000 fathoms. बस ये factual data याद रखो. 2000 to 6000 fathoms. They are widely distributed. In Antarctic Ocean, in the Antarctic Ocean, North Atlantic, around Grand Banks region. Understanding why? Grand Banks region. कौन लेके आ रहा है in the Grand Banks region? What is the name of current? Labrador current. And around the Sea of Japan in Pacific. And around the Sea of Japan in Pacific. वहां पे कौन लेके आ रहा है? Kuroshio current. Inorganic deposits which are not made from animal remains. बहुत simple है. It is red clay and meteoric dust. Meteoric dust. These deposits do not contain any remains from plant and animals. Any remains from the plants and animals. They are rich in iron, मैंगनीज ऑक्साइड. सबसे ज्यादा कौन से ओशन में मैंगनीज ऑक्साइड? इंडियन ओशन में. मैंगनीज नोड्यूल्स, मैंगनीज ऑक्साइड्स, सिलिका एंड फेल्डस्पार. जो याद रख सकते हो रखो. आयरन, मैंगनीज, वेरी इजी. आयरन तो होगा ही. मैंगनीज, सिलिका लिख सकते हो, कैल्शियम मत लिखो. एंड फेल्डस्पार. फेल्डस्पार ऑलवेज कम्स फ्रॉम सियाल. बसाल्ट में से हमेशा आयरन, ग्रेनाइट में से हमेशा फेल्डस्पार. They are divided into two categories. They are divided into two categories. First, red clay. Red clay. Wiley and Thompson. Wiley and Thompson. और वाइली थॉम्सन. कहां पे है वाइली थॉम्सन? रिज. वाइली थॉम्सन. Regarded them as organic deposits. Regard them as organic deposits. But मरे. Murray proved that they are the result of oxides of aluminum and iron. They are the results of oxides of aluminum and iron. कहाँ पे मिलेगा आयरन एंड ऑक्साइड्स ऑफ एल्यूमिनियम एंड आयरन? क्यों बाहर आएगा ओशंस पे? फ्रॉम वेयर? From volcanic eruptions. So they are found in volcanic regions. They are found in volcanic regions, comma, teeth of shark and the skeletons of whales. Skeletons of whales. Whales. They are found at the greatest depth. They are found at the greatest depth in all the oceans. In all the oceans. Half of Pacific, half of the floor of Pacific, half of the floor of Pacific is covered by is covered by red clay. Is covered by red clay. Half of the floor of Pacific is covered by red clay. Which part of the Indian Ocean is deeper? Eastern, western? कहाँ पे है convergent plate boundary? What is there in the western part? Lakshadweep Chagos Ridge, फिर ऊपर जाता है just Kotra Ridge, Lakshadweep Ridge again. Eastern part में कुछ नहीं है. So in the Indian Ocean, it is found in middle and eastern parts. And last is meteoric dust. It is found on both land and sea, because meteors can fall anywhere. It is found on both land and sea. It is extremely rich in, what is the core made up of in earth ka? Iron. So what will be the core of meteors made up of? Iron. It is extremely rich in iron and is of black or brown color. Black or brown color. Conclusion. Does Sir John Murray gave a proper understanding of ocean deposits? Gave a proper understanding of ocean deposits based on the source as well as depth. Based on the source as well as depth. And draw this diagram. What is the depth of the ocean in fathoms? 6,000 meters, मतलब कितना fathoms? चलो draw this diagram. One fathom is 6 feet. Understood? Terrigenous and pelagic. अब अगर एग्जाम में टाइम है तो इसको भी डिवाइड कर सकते हो, फाइन, इसको भी डिवाइड कर सकते हो, डायटम, रेडियोलोरियन एंड डायटम, इसको टेरोपॉड और ग्लोबिजेनेरिया. टाइड्स मैं नहीं पढ़ाऊंगा, कल मैं हैंडआउट के साथ साथ डिस्कस कर लूंगा. वेलकम टू द थेरोटिकल में लास्ट पार्ट. उसके बाद फिर बचता है राइज इन द सी लेवल, ग्लोबल वार्मिंग, सी पोल्यूशन एक्सेट्रा. What is tide? Rise and the fall of sea water with gravitational force of sun and moon. Moon being nearer to us has the more effect. So that you will understand when the handout is there. No question on tides, no question on waves up there. Why? And there will be no question also. So no need of wasting time. Only thing is we should remember them as a source of energy. Getting it? So done with this. So we come to the last theoretical part here, that is coral reefs. How many of you have a fair idea of the coral reefs? Can I rub this? How we study this? We will study this in the form of conditions. We will study this in the form of types on the basis of shape, on the basis of location. So कल का जो doubt था, on the basis of shape you already know. Barrier reef, fringing reef and atoll. On the basis of location, cold water corals and normal corals. And theories of the coral reef formation. Coral bleaching. Current affairs associated with global warming and pollution and Charles Wilkinson report. Getting it? Come to the past year question before I start this topic and quickly go through the past year questions. We'll start ulta from 2018. Describe the potential marine energy resources. ये मैंने कल discuss किया था. What are the causes and the consequences of the sea level change? Fine. Consequences. Bleaching. One. एक ही consequence. बाकी तो बहुत ज़्यादा है. 45 you can easily do. Configuration of the Pacific Ocean floor. Explain the concept of microcarbon sink and its relevance. You'll understand this. What is the microcarbon sink and its relevance? Oceans are mega carbon sink. Carbon sink means anything that will absorb the carbon dioxide. So oceans absorb 40% of the atmospheric carbon dioxide. Whatever will release, uska 40% goes into the oceans. So oceans are micro और मेगा कार्बन सिंक्स, मेगा। बट ओशंस कैसे ऑब्जॉर्व करते हैं? ओशंस के अंदर देयर आर फाइटोप्लैंक्टन्स, देयर आर कोरल्स, देयर आर एनिमल्स व्हिच विल take the carbon dioxide, or there are plants which will take the carbon dioxide. These are the microcarbon sinks in the oceans. But microcarbon sink is not just on the ocean, it is also on the land in the terms of Amazon rainforest, bada carbon sink, not, but रास्ते के आसपास के फॉरेस्ट, आपके घर के अंदर का ट्रीज, आपके गार्डन के ट्रीज, दिस ऑल आर microcarbon sinks. Explain the impact of ocean currents on air mass behavior. Distinguish between the low energy coast and the coral coast. First we'll understand what is the coral coast, then only low energy coast. Question number 37. I will skip the other questions. Give an account of the recent observation of the coral bleaching with references to Clive Wilkinson's report. That is why direct question आया था, Wilkinson's report. Then compare the subsidence and the glacial control theories of the formation of the coral reefs. 2013 mein there are two theories. Question number 31. Atolls present the most challenging explanation in the evolution of the coral reefs. Discuss. Why? Because ये जो theories जो है, तीन theories, उसमें से दो theories जो है, that is the glacial control and subsidence theory, cannot explain the formation of atoll. Atoll is explained imperfectly by only one theory. So you will have to write down the negatives of the three theories. And therefore you say कि atoll का formation is not properly understood, and therefore this form the biggest challenge. Getting it? ऐसे नहीं है कि कुछ भी लिखना है, ये theories ही लिखनी है regarding the coral reef formation. Question number 2008-23. Describe the ideal conditions for the coral reef formation and discuss the glacial control theory. UPSC का favorite है glacial control theory. Fine? Not the subsidence theory, Davis वाली. Question number 16, 2001, write the formation of the coral reefs. 97, theories of the formation of the coral reefs and atolls. I will not go beyond, but you can see कहाँ से question आ रहे हैं? 1, 2, 3. यहाँ से question नहीं आ रहे because this is just for understanding. Once you understand the shape and the location, then only you can write what is an atoll, etc. So, what is your idea of corals? What are corals? What are corals? I didn't ask उनका association किसके साथ है? What are corals? These are marine animals having the shape of cylindrical shape, having tentacles. Right? So this is how the individual coral is. Uska body is made up of calcium carbonate. The corals then when they die, they start secreting the calcium carbonate after their death. And over the period of time, due to the death of the corals, this calcium carbonate structures will become very big, and then it is known as reefs. So reef, coral reef, obviously this coral reef are the platforms in which the newer corals will grow. But coral reefs, are they colorful? Are they colorful? Have you seen the coral reefs? Everyone knows the coral reefs? पता है coral reefs? Photo देखा है at least? Are they colorful? Yes. Why? Because corals are in the symbiotic association with zooxanthellae. What is zooxanthellae? Zooxanthellae is an algae which gives color as well as food to the corals. So with this, tell me the basic condition for the formation of coral reefs. Algae कहाँ रहेगी? Photic zone में, aphotic zone में? Photic zone में. Photic zone में, that is why? Because it will require to manufacture food by the process of photosynthesis. So can I say the first basic condition is the shallow sea? But corals क्या swim करेंगे? नहीं. So there has to be submarine platform in the photic zone. That is the first condition. The submarine platform can be continental shelf, can be volcanic mountain जो dead हो गया है. Obviously live volcano पे तो corals नहीं रहेंगे. or can be any submarine island. Getting it? Second condition, basic corals के लिए GS का ही knowledge. Don't corals require the temperature of around 27 degrees Celsius, right? Don't worry about the theories. Theories के लिए printouts are ready in points. कल मैं वो printout देख के ही discuss करूँगा. It's very easy theories. They are not like the theories of geomorphology. Theory क्या कहती है? सबसे पहले बनेगा barrier reef. सबसे पहले बनेगा फ्रिंजिंग रीफ. फ्रिंजिंग रीफ मतलब अगर ये सबमरीन प्लेटफॉर्म है और अगर ये समंदर है तो कोरल्स विल स्टार्ट ग्रोइंग हियर, राइट? दे विल बी अटैच्ड टू द कोस्ट एंड यू विल कॉल देम एज अ फ्रिंजिंग रीफ. अंडरस्टूड? फ्रिंज. अब जैसे वजन बढ़ेगा कोरल्स का तो ये लैंड नीचे जाना शुरू हो जाएगी. एज ए लैंड नीचे जाएगी सो ये कोरल्स ऊपर की तरफ ग्रो हो जाएंगे. जैसे ये कोरल्स ऊपर की तरफ ग्रो हो जाएंगे सो द ओल्डर कोरल्स विल डाई एंड बिकॉज ऑफ द डेथ ऑफ द ओल्डर कोरल्स इस बीच में लगून बन जाएगा एंड दिस इज व्हाट इज नोन एज एन बैरियर रीफ. क्यों बैरियर? क्योंकि अब जो यहाँ पे खड़ा है उसको लगेगा ये वॉल है. अब फिर से वेट बढ़ने के कारण अगेन द entire sea volcanic mountain will go down and therefore corals सिर्फ ऊपर ऊपर दिखेंगे and this ring of coral reefs from the top is what is known as an atoll. ये ऐसी theories है इसमें and this is how coral reefs are formed. But problem है atolls are not always found in the areas of sinking. Atolls are generally found in the areas जहाँ पे island sink नहीं हुआ. इसलिए atolls form the most difficult challenge in the formation. That is what the question is. Getting it? Island sink नहीं हुआ फिर atoll कैसे बनेगा? यही तो ये theories बता नहीं पा रही है. इसलिए तो atolls वो क्वेश्चन पूछा है. हमें मतलब सी लेवल बढ़ना या लैंड सबसाइड होना एक ही बात है. पॉजिटिव चेंज इन द सी लेवल या नेगेटिव चेंज इन द लैंड एक ही बात है. मतलब लैंड सबमर्ज होने के कारण सबसाइड नहीं हुआ तो सबमर्ज भी हो गया. फाइन. वो दोनों एक्सप्लेन नहीं कर सकते. देयर हैज बीन नो एविडेंस ऑफ सबमर्जेंस इन लक्षद्वीप. देयर हैज बीन नो एविडेंस ऑफ सबमर्जेंस इन मालदीव्स एंड सेशल्स. स्टिल दे आर अटॉल्स. व्हाई? इसलिए तो क्वेश्चन पूछा है. मे बी है ही नहीं इधर. वी आर गोइंग टू राइट ओनली व्हाट थियरीज आर सेइंग. डोंट यूज योर हेड. कोई है ही नहीं. मे बी थियरी कहते हैं कि अटॉल प्रेजेंट द मोस्ट डिफिकल्ट इन चैलेंज. बस आंसर खत्म. वो आज हो रहा है. अटॉल आज नहीं बना. अटॉल बनने के लिए कम से कम 100 साल लगते हैं. Most of the atolls are older than 2500 years. सीजन से कारण कब राइज हुआ सी लेवल? Fine. So one condition is platform. Second condition is temperature. अब सिर्फ temperature they are found in the tropical oceans, that is जहाँ पे temperature is more than 21-27 degrees Celsius etc. Fine. Except अब इसमें current डालो. जो पिछले साल हमें पता चला, nowadays many of the corals have been discovered which live not in the form of reefs. They are not in symbiotic association with zooxanthellae and they are known as cold corals. अब cold corals क्यों है? क्योंकि ये है प्लिस्टोसिन आइस एज के पहले वाले कोरल्स. वो फॉर्म हुए थे ड्यूरिंग द प्लिस्टोसिन पीरियड एंड व्हेन द सी लेवल्स रोज अप दोस कोरल्स वेंट बिलो. उन्होंने अडेप्ट कर लिया. दे अडेप्टेड देमसेल्फ टू लिव विदाउट zooxanthellae and therefore they are surviving. Can everyone do adaptation? No. Therefore they are very few in number. Fine. उन्होंने अटॉल नहीं बनाया. They are found at the depth. तो ऐसे करंट डालने की कोशिश करो. एक्सेप्शंस ये मैं कह रहा हूं देखो जब हम बुक्स पढ़ते हैं वो कहेंगे कोरल्स के लिए 27 डिग्री सेल्सियस का टेम्परेचर है। पिछले साल का करंट अफेयर्स क्या है, एक नए कोरल्स मिले इन द डीप सी। सो उस करंट को कैसे डालोगे आप, ये मैं कह रहा हूँ, एक्सेप्शंस। गेटिंग इट? एक्सेप्शंस नहीं वाइट होते हैं, बट दे आर नॉट ब्लीच्ड आल्सो, दे आर वाइट इन कलर। और दे सर्वाइव नॉट बाय फोटोसिंथेसिस, दे सर्वाइव बाय कैचिंग द फिशेस। उनको फूड कैसे मिलेगा, दे सर्वाइव बाय हंटिंग और कैचिंग द फिशेस। You will understand this. मैं एक आपको superficial I am telling you will all understand this when we write the points. Third condition, corals are found always in the saline water. They cannot tolerate fresh water. Because they cannot tolerate the fresh water, therefore corals are not found near the mouths of big rivers. Example in India, corals are found on the eastern coast या western coast. जनरली ऑन द वेस्टर्न कोस्ट एंड गल्फ ऑफ मन्नार, जहाँ पे कोई बड़ी रिवर नहीं है। सुंदरबंस में नहीं है, उड़ीसा में नहीं है, कहीं पे भी कोरल्स नहीं है। दे आर जस्ट फाउंड ऑन द ईस्टर्न कोस्ट, लक्षद्वीप एंड द सदर्न पार्ट, जहाँ रिवर्स नहीं है। गेटिंग इट? फोर्थ कंडीशन, कोरल्स आर हैविंग पोर्स ऑन देयर बॉडी एंड बिकॉज दे आर हैविंग पोर्स ऑन द बॉडी दे कैन नॉट टॉलरेट डस्ट पार्टिकल्स और सेडिमेंट्स विच आर ब्रॉट बाय द रिवर्स। गेटिंग इट? बट सिर्फ हम यहाँ पे सेडिमेंट्स नहीं लिखेंगे, विल राइट टर्बिडिटीज, टर्बिडिटी दैट आर ब्रॉट बाय द रिवर्स। ऑप्शनल है, थोड़ा टेक्निकल लिखेंगे। टर्बिडिटी करंट्स मींस द mud particles that are brought by the rivers and इसीलिए again they will avoid the mouths of the big rivers. हमेशा याद रखना before I go further, बड़ी रिवर्स के पास जहाँ कीचड़ होगा, जहाँ बहुत सारा कचरा होगा, सिल्ट होगा, सेडिमेंट्स होगा, वहाँ कोरल्स नहीं होंगे, वहाँ होंगे मैंग्रोव्स। जहाँ रिवर्स नहीं है वहाँ होंगे कोरल्स। कोरल्स के लिए ऑलवेज द सी हैज टू बी क्लियर, मैंग्रोव्स के लिए ऑलवेज द सी हैज टू बी मडी। गेटिंग इट? सो यू लुक एट द डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन ऑफ इंडिया and see the same thing except for the Charles Wilkinson report and theories you will have to do for GS. Agar this is the region of mangroves in India, this is the region of coral reefs in India, this is the region of mangroves in India. क्यों? नर्मदा, तापी, सॉरी, दिस इज द रीजन ऑफ कोरल्स इन इंडिया, क्योंकि यहाँ पे कोई भी रिवर नहीं जाती और थोड़े बहुत कोरल्स थोड़े बहुत यहाँ पे जाए। लक्षद्वीप आर टोटली कोरल्स, सॉरी, Lakshadweep are coral islands and some of the corals are also found in Andaman and Nicobar. That means you even prepare, जो आजकल ट्रेंड आ रहा है, for distribution of corals in India. थोड़े बहुत corals गोवा के पास है, obviously लक्षद्वीप, and somewhat in the Andaman and Nicobar islands. यहाँ पे GS के लिए हमेशा याद रखना, जहाँ कीचड़ होगा, जहाँ मैंग्रोव्स होंगे, वहाँ पे you will find crocodiles, and जहां corals होंगे you will find corals are the rainforest of the oceans. Importance, why they are the rainforest of the oceans? They cover only 20% of the oceans, has 80% of oceanic life in them, of the area, but 80% of biodiversity. उनका वैल्यू इन द टर्म्स ऑफ इकोनॉमिक वैल्यू इज $15 trillion, $15 trillion एनुअली। यूनाइटेड नेशंस का रिपोर्ट है। दैट इज व्हाई कोरल्स आर इंपॉर्टेंट। पूरा मॉरिशियस का इकोनॉमी, पूरा मालदीव्स का इकोनॉमी, पूरा सेशल्स का इकोनॉमी, ऑस्ट्रेलिया का 60% ऑफ जीडीपी इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन कोरल्स। Australia is a developed country but not a manufacturing superhouse power. फिर भी वो developed है. Corals, 60% of foreign exchange is dependent on corals. People go to Indonesia, Malaysia, etc. to watch corals. फिर over the period of time वो tourism centers में develop हो गए. Similarly, you will like to go to Andaman and Nicobar Islands. You like to go to Goa. Understanding? फिर वो economy अलग way में develop हो गई. But what was the real attraction? जहाँ साफ पानी है. कहाँ होगा साफ पानी? जहाँ कोरल्स है. जहाँ साफ पानी है वहीं तो स्नॉर्कलिंग करोगे, स्कूबा डाइविंग करोगे. पूरी में जाके जहाँ मैनग्रोव्स है नीचे स्कूबा डाइविंग कुछ नहीं दिखेगा, सिर्फ मडी वाटर. पता चला डाइविंग करते करते यू गो इनटू मगरमच्छ का मुंह. फाइन. This one. This is Indian saltwater crocodile, the largest crocodile in the world. 26 feet. The largest predator in the world in the terms of land and sea. Feet. Take corals. Corals. Follow the language. Answer GS जैसा मत लगने दो, इसलिए follow this language. Keywords understand करना. Corals are minute marine polyp living mostly in polyp means cylindrical animal, mostly in clear, shallow waters of tropical oceans and seas. Tropical oceans and seas. डेफिनेशन में सब कुछ बता दिया आपने. शैलो भी, वार्म भी, ट्रॉपिकल. इसलिए मैंने कहा सब ये कीवर्ड्स याद आने दो. दिस आर द डिस्टिंग्विशिंग पॉइंट्स. इसके बाद वी आर गोइंग टू स्टार्ट विद क्लाइमेटोलॉजी. फाइन. उसमें भी सब कुछ जीएस जैसा है एक्सेप्ट कॉपन एंड थॉर्नवाइड. सो आंसर्स ऐसे जीएस जैसे नहीं लगने चाहिए. देयर बॉडी इज मेड अप ऑफ लाइमस्टोन. Their body is made up of limestone and dolomite. Limestone and dolomite. Nothing but limestone and magnesium का compound is known as dolomite. कोई याद रखने की जरूरत नहीं. Which are secreted by the organisms to form one of most productive ecosystems. One of most productive ecosystem known as coral reefs. Most productive ecosystems known as coral reefs. The fauna of corals is more diverse than tropical rainforest. Underline this. The fauna means animal life of corals is more diverse than tropical rainforest. देखो जीएस में दो टाइप के क्वेश्चन आते हैं. हु हैज मोर डाइवर्सिटी, बायोडाइवर्सिटी, ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट या कोरल रीफ्स? तो आंसर विल बी ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट. हमेशा अगर जनरल क्वेश्चन आता है हु हैज मोर बायोडाइवर्सिटी, आंसर हमेशा होगा ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट. स्पेसिफिक क्वेश्चन आता है द फाइलम और द एनिमल किंगडम और द डिफरेंट प्लांट एंड एनिमल किंगडम आर मोर इन व्हाट? द आंसर विल बी कोरल रीफ्स. समझ में आया? बायोडाइवर्सिटी इज द वेराइटी. वेराइटी कहां पे ज्यादा है? ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट में. प्लांट्स है, एनिमल्स है, ज्यादा एनिमल्स है, बहुत डिफरेंट टाइप्स के एनिमल्स, इंसेक्ट्स है, एक्सेट्रा. बट अगर हमने एनिमल लाइफ की बात की, इसलिए मैंने आंसर दिया है फाउना. सो एनिमल लाइफ एंड प्लांट लाइफ हम कैसे डिस्टिंग्विश करते हैं? वी टेक किंगडम, किंगडम वी डिवाइड इट इनटू फाइला, फाइला विल डिवाइड इट इनटू मोनेरा, राइट? सो फाइला किस में ज्यादा है या किंगडम किस में ज्यादा है? द आंसर हमेशा विल बी कोरल्स. क्यों? कोरल्स विल हैव ऑल द किंगडम्स व्हिच आर प्रेजेंट इन द इंसेक्ट्स. और सब जो ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट में रहते हैं वो भी रहेंगे कोरल्स में. बट कोरल्स में दो किंगडम ज्यादा होगा, वो है जेलीफिश वाला किंगडम एंड क्रस्टेशियंस वाला किंगडम. मैं आपको वो पास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन से डिस्कस करूंगा, या लास्ट ईयर पास्ट ईयर क्वेश्चन. प्रोडक्टिविटी किसकी ज्यादा है? ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट की. सेकंड नंबर पे है कोरल रीफ्स. प्रोडक्टिविटी, बायोडाइवर्सिटी किसकी ज्यादा है? पर किंगडम की वैरायटी या एनिमल की वैरायटी, स्पेसिफिकली एनिमल की वैरायटी की कहां ज्यादा है? इसमें, कोरल रीफ्स में. क्योंकि बट जनरल बायोडाइवर्सिटी कहां ज्यादा है? एनिमल भी है, प्लांट्स भी है, प्लांट्स भी है, डिफरेंट टाइप्स ऑफ प्लांट्स भी है, तो ट्रॉपिकल रेन फॉरेस्ट. क्योंकि कोरल रीफ्स में प्लांट्स ही नहीं है. ट्रॉपिकल फाउना है या एनिमल बायोडाइवर्सिटी है, एनिमल किंगडम है या जनरल फाइला है, बिकॉज यू डिवाइड देम इनटू फाइला, फ्लोरा, एक्सेट्रा. सो फाइला इज इनटू फ्लोरा एंड फाउना. सो फाइला अगर है तो इट इज ट्रॉपिकल, सॉरी, कोरल रीफ्स. फाइन. लास्ट ईयर यही सेम क्वेश्चन था. Not this year, last year. Most of the people marked it as tropical evergreen forest. Conditions. So tell me the conditions. Properly lie depth. I am not dictating anything. Hmm? We require shallow submarine platform having shallow sea water. Therefore, continental shelves, volcanic islands up to depth of 300 feet are ideal locations. Fine. ऑप्शनल है सो इसलिए एक्स्ट्रा, हेंस दे आर फाउंड अटैच्ड टू coast which are older or coasts belonging to Precambrian era. Why Precambrian era? Because this is the coastline that has not gone continuous emergence and submergence. Stable रहा है ये coastline. Getting it? GS में यहाँ तक बहुत था. You have to show something technical. Fine? Don't write these are found in the coast which go at regular submergence and emergence. फिर नहीं रहेंगे वो. Regular submergence they cannot survive above the sea water. Regular emergence submergence में नहीं रहेंगे. Stable coastline. Getting it? Next. Temperature. Temperature. Ideal temperature range is 21 degrees Celsius to 27 degrees Celsius. Therefore, they are primarily located. They are primarily located between 30° north and 30° south. 30° north and 30° south. Getting it? Anyone is having atlas? Or even if you are not having atlas, forget about atlas. Are the corals found near Japan? Yes. Are the corals found near Grand Banks region? Thoda to the south of Grand Banks region? Yes. Is it 30° north or south? No. Q then hai corals. Warm currents. Fine? So the next point. However, they can be found further north and south. They can be found further north and south due to extension of warm currents. Due to the impact of warm currents. Due to the impact of warm currents. Next point, generally 20 degrees Celsius isotherm, generally 20 degrees Celsius isotherm is taken as the poleward limit of the corals in the world. Is taken as the poleward limit of the corals in the world. 20 degrees Celsius isotherm is the poleward limit. I'll explain you what is the poleward limit. Poleward limit of the corals in the world. Poleward, P-O-L-E, word, limit of the corals in the world. And draw the world map. Poleward means पोल के तरफ. Can I draw the 20 degree Celsius isotherm? Is it visible? Red color का line? Can you someone tell me why ये ऐसा slant क्यों हो गया? Yes, because of the warm and cold stream. इंडियन ओशन में कोई क्वेश्चन ही नहीं है, हमेशा 20 डिग्री सेल्सियस के ऊपर ही रहेगा. दिस डायग्राम इज नथिंग बट एक्सटेंशन. ये ऐसे आया और ये थोड़ा ऊपर चला गया, जहां जहां फ्रॉम द वार्म ईस्ट ऑस्ट्रेलियन करंट, कोल्ड बेनगुएला करंट, थोड़ा ऊपर चला गया. कोल्ड करंट ऊपर चला गया. यहाँ पे वार्म करंट है, गुलास करंट, इसलिए नीचे से यहाँ पे भी वार्म करंट है. फाइन. सो उसके बाद द बेस्ट ऑप्शन इज टू शेड दिस. दिस इज द रीजन ऑफ corals का distribution. World distribution of the coral reefs. You have seen the conditions पे 2 बार क्वेश्चन आया है. It cannot be like GS का क्वेश्चन. बोल दिया टेम्परेचर इतना होना चाहिए. 30 मार्क्स के लिए आता है, 300 वर्ड्स या 250 वर्ड्स. कम है, हमने तो सिर्फ जोन बताया, ऑब्वियसली यहाँ पे भी नहीं है, सिर्फ जोन बताया टेम्परेचर का. Can I continue? It is the, this is the isotherm, 20 degree Celsius का isotherm, which is the limit of the corals in the world. But recently some of the cold water corals, have also been discovered, have also been discovered have also been discovered near the, in the North Atlantic, surrounding the coast of France and UK, surrounding the coast of France and UK. Third is sunlight. Sunlight. As they are in symbiotic association with, zooxanthellae, as they are in the symbiotic association with zooxanthellae, a microscopic algae which provides them food, and color, corals grow in photic zones of the world. Corals grow in the photic zones. If you want, you can draw this diagram. Depend करता है कितने मार्क का क्वेश्चन आया, फाइन, उस हिसाब से you take the decision. And I'll stop here. I'll extend the class tomorrow. But अभी ये class खाली चाहिए for a seminar. Fine. If you have any doubts, I am outside.